Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name is Alexander Howell, and as you might have noticed, my background looks a little eclectic. That's probably not the right word. It looks a little funky. Well, the reason for it is I'm actually at my home in Lee Summit, Missouri, where I'm going to be building out an office here in the next few months, here over the next few months. I'm leaving the office that you normally see with the cinder block walls and the Zelda poster and the Game of Thrones books. Those are coming with me, obviously. But I'm basically leaving that behind, and I'm going to actually build this space out. So what you're seeing behind you will actually be where I record in the future. So hopefully we get to watch what that looks like. I'm really kind of excited about it. I think it'll be a fun thing. But all of that being said, today's video, I wanted to go through something that is a little difficult because I don't want to really throw too much out there of just one specific person's idea or plan or whatever it might be. But I get so many questions and emails, especially from you all asking, how are you doing this? Why are you doing it? What's the reasoning? What's your goal? And in the comment sections of YouTube and Facebook, mostly positive, by the way, some a little not happy with me for I don't know what reason, but hey, is what it is. Welcome to internet. Anyway, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of what's the situation? When should I visit? Why should I visit? But a lot of the emails specifically are, how are you doing this? And so what I wanted to do was just go through a really quick explanation of exactly what our plan is, what our end goal is first, what our plan is for the houses that we're currently juggling between, and then the eventual end goal. Because I think when somebody says that they own a house here and a house here and a house here, a lot of people think like I'm, like a poor man's Johnny Depp, where he's got like 26 mansions and I'm just trying to get 26 tiny little places. That's not it at all. It's where we are now is around family. Our lake home is also around family, but we have kind of we feel like that's our home base of the future. And Merida is going to be not our second home, but kind of our every 6 months home. So Merida, 6 months in Kansas, or at the lake of the Ozarks for 6 months. That's our goal, and that's what we shared with our financial planner. And so in a basic breakdown, not going through a ton of numbers, just here is what our goal is, and here's how we're accomplishing it. I wanted to be fair and honest with you guys because I feel like there are times where the camera in front of me is both a positive because I get to share the message and my passions and all that kind of thing and all those things with you. But it also is a hindrance because I'm not there to say, oh, and by the way, I'm doing this, or I'm able to kind of expand on every subject. I'm going to try to do that with Twitch, but that's where I sit at this point. Speaking of Twitch, first of all, if you don't mind, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell because that helps the algorithm and it also helps you know anytime a video drops and goes live. Please visit me on social media. At Alexander from KC on Twitter and Instagram and all the others. At Twitch is also twitch.tv/Alexander from KC. At LinkedIn, if you want to communicate with me professionally, linkedin.com/in/Alexander L. Howell is where you can find me there. And obviously my website, alexanderhowell.com, and my email is alexander@alexanderhowell.com if you have any questions specifically about merit or real estate, advertising, branding, or otherwise. So hope we get into the video. Again, hope you guys enjoy it. It's a little... I feel like it went a little long for what I was planning on, but I wanted to get as much information as I could and kind of explain the situation to you all. And I really wanted to do this because I wanted to be able to explain what the plan was, and so that you guys didn't think like I'm juggling houses. There is an actual end goal, and these houses actually help to facilitate what that end goal is. Even though it probably doesn't sound like it, I hope you see that the explanation is there. So again, hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for subscribing. The subscription base on this channel has grown like crazy over the last just 2 months, and I really want to thank every single person who subscribes to the channel for this because it is amazing to see the growth of this and how passionate people are for the content. So again, thank you very much. Enjoy. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that all of this planning, everything that we're doing, is part of our financial plan, and really that starts with the end goal in mind. What is it that you want to do that you have the possibility to do? And you have to be really honest with yourself about what that means. Now, my wife and I have a very different circumstance than pretty much anyone. It's all different based on income. It's based on how many kids you want to have, or if you want to have kids. It's based on if you want to buy a house in a foreign country, and if you want to have a lake house, or what just your general goals. Some people don't have those. We have great friends that have saved and saved and saved and saved and saved, and their goal is to buy a great RV and travel the country. They don't even want to have a shower. I mean, one of them does, the other doesn't, but that's their goal. Very different than ours. but it all revolved around what they wanted to do. So the first thing I would tell anybody to do is don't listen to me. I used to be a financial advisor for a few years. I got my Series 7 and 66 and all that stuff, but I'm no longer in the industry, which means that I'm not catching up on the day to day. But find a good financial advisor, and even somebody like me has one. We make sure that we go to him. He updates our plan once a year, but if anything changes in that plan, if our goals change, if we have kids or buy a new car or something like that, it goes in the plan. And then we can restructure what we're wanting to do. And so, first things first, find a qualified person to have this discussion with, because it's going to save you so much time and effort in the long run, because they're going to be able to help you compartmentalize everything, show you what the goals are, and really show you a lot of information that you might not have thought of. So, again, that's my advice. But what I want to talk about today is I've gotten a lot of emails from you guys, which is fantastic. I absolutely love that. It's one of my favorite things to get, because they're normally the long form ones. They have a lot of questions. And when I get those, the number one question that I get is how. It's not why did you do this, because I think most people through the video kind of understand the why. It's not all of those questions. It really is how. How do you do this? Or, what are you doing to make this happen? And again, as an asterisk in this piece, it's different than you will do. It's a different reason, it's a different framework, it's a different time frame. And we also have to deal with what we have done in the past as well. And from the time my wife and I were really engaged, even before we were married, we were working together on a plan for the future. And this is kind of what we knew we wanted to do, but we were saving like crazy, trying to make sure that we made the right decisions so that the two of us, and then eventually the four of us as a family, were able to do the things that we wanted to do. So the goal was, even in the beginning, we wanted a house in Mexico. We thought we were going to get a house in Isla Mujeres, and it just never really worked out. The positive was this last February and March, when we discovered Merida, it became ridiculously obvious that this is where we wanted to end up. The city atmosphere, the fact that the beach was, 25 kilometers away, not a big drive. The downtown Merida experience, the colonial experience, it was absolutely fantastic. So it became really evident really fast. This is the place we want to be, for long vacations for now, and then eventually retirement or early retirement when we can. Obviously, called a financial planner, explained everything to him. We went through all of our plans. And what it came down to was we had to really think about how we were focusing our finances with regard to our real estate. Because as you guys probably know, if you've watched the videos, we have our current home, which is the beautiful office space, or the eventual beautiful office space that's not beautiful at all right now. It's my unfinished basement with a pink insulation. It's fun. But we have this house, we have our lake home, and we have now the Merida home. So this is where the plan really changed. And to give you just a little bit of history on our housing experiences, at the lake, that's the first house we actually bought together. I was still in college and she was up here, and we weren't engaged, and never do that. We knew, we were lucky, never do that. We bought that house, got a lot of equity into it, and then eventually we found another house down there that was on acreage. It was it was close to our friend's area. I mean, literally there's a gate that separates me from my friend. But it's on 28 acres, and it's this big house with a big garage, and it's beautiful and palatial, and we're kind of away from everyone while still being close to everyone. And it had a massive flood. And so all the equity that we now had in that house, we then had to restore the house because it flooded and we were down to studs. We decided if it's down to studs, then we're going to do everything that we want to this house because we don't want to do it again. Now, because we had saved up money, we had that ability. And then at the end of the day, the mortgage was significantly lower than I think it would have been because we had, utilized the equity that we had in a lot of other places. So that's the lake house. Our homes in the city, I eventually moved into my girlfriend then, wife's house later. Her home, which she had been really diligent about paying down. We then moved into a bigger home, knowing that we were eventually going to start a family. That house we'll call Timber Hills. So Timber Hills had a significant amount of equity from the beginning, but we paid it down like it was the only thing we could do in the world. That was our only goal, was just put as much money down as possible. So every month, we had a 15-year note. We actually made ourselves do a 15-year note, and then we were adding money on top of it. We figured we'll pay that thing off and we'll be done as done can be. And we weren't, because about 5.5 years into owning that house, there's nothing else to call it. It was a mansion in a town that was really close to that house. And it was just kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. We figured we'll buy this thing, we'll live in it forever, or we will sell it because it's way too big for 2 people and eventually 4 or 3 people because we'd already had my oldest at that point. So it was too big. It was a very fun experience, but it was a lot of work. It was a ton of square footage. Everything had to be redone. And by the time we were done with it, if you've ever lived through renovation, especially if you've lived through it for a year and a half, you know how angry you can get at a house. The house didn't do anything to you, but you can still get angry at it. So we ended up selling it. It took a bit to sell because we again had a flood in the house. I know it's literally our luck, and my contractor makes fun of me all the time for it. But we ended up selling that house, but we made there's no other way to put it. We made a significant amount of money off of it. Enough so that when we bought our current home, which is much, I can't say this enough, it's much nicer upstairs. This is terrible. My kids' toys are right there, right there, the old toys. Anyway, when we eventually sold the home, we made enough money to basically pay our house. Now we added a few things to it here and there, so that took up a little bit of stuff. But we had made good investment choices in the past, and that allowed us to basically reduce our home to even smaller than our homes 2 houses ago. So we went from this giant house and the big house before to this one, which is not a huge house. It's a nice house. It's a decent house. It's in a good neighborhood with great friends and neighbors, but it's not huge. And for us, that was great because it was like, okay, debt over, done. Now we can concentrate on the lake. And then we went to Merida. And there's something to thinking that you have everything handled and then finding something you love. And that's exactly what we did. And once we found the place that we loved, there was no question that we were going to go back into debt. Now we had to weigh a few things because down there, and again, many of you have commented, some in a not so nice way, and many in a very nice way, that there's all kinds of different ways to invest in property down there and get financed. Unfortunately for us, what we were hearing and what I had seen online and even on YouTube and all these other platforms was, including from our advisors, was if you can pay cash, do that because the interest rates are going to hit you and it's going to be a very, very complex situation. And so that's what we did. We basically took the equity out of this house, put it in that, or will put it in that through the entire renovation. So we'll have a mortgage on our house, our lake home, but none on Merida. So this is where it gets to the planning side. So when we presented this to our financial planner, he went through the numbers and we told him our goal is not to keep this house, the one that I'm standing in, after our kids are in college. And we have about 16 years until that happens. So we'll enjoy this home. It'll be home for 16 wonderful years, I guess 18 wonderful years. But after that point, it's done. We won't need it. We'll move into the lake house and we want to spend the other 6 months or so in Merida. And maybe we'll spend more in one place or the other, but that's going to be our lifestyle here and there. That was it. And so when he pulled up the amortization schedule, which basically shows how long it takes to pay off your home, and looked at this one and our lake house, what we determined was that in about 7 years, we could sell this house at that point, and it would not only pay off this house, because obviously you pay off your mortgage first, but it would also have enough equity built in to pay off the lake house as well. So in 16, we'd even have a better cash position than that point. So that answered our question, because our goal is to get into retirement and have the same lifestyle that we have, or at least close to it. Even if we have to work a little here and there, on the side. My wife is an amazing attorney, so I'm sure she could find work like that. I could find work as well. Our goal was that we want to have this much income. We want to be retired at this time, and we want to have zero debt. Have a piggy bank that we can crack open if there's some catastrophic thing, if we need, a car fixed up or a new car or something like that. But for the most part, none of that. We want to have this lifestyle and that. And no debt basically meant that we now didn't have to plan on that debt. So that's the goal, is eventually we'll lose this place. We'll keep the lake house. We'll keep the Merida house. We'll have no debt. And just as an add-on to that point, the reason that we wanted to do that isn't some weird scheme where we're working, complex tasks, if that's what you were thinking. The reason that we wanted to do that is because let's say you have mortgage payments that are principal and interest, not taxes, not insurance, just principal and interest alone. And you had total mortgage payments for 2 houses of, say, and this isn't us, but let's say you had $2,000 to make the numbers easy. Well, that's $24,000 per year that you now have to plan on paying until it's done. And if you go into retirement with that much in payments due for 10 years and you don't want to work, that means that you have to find a total of $240,000 in retirement to pay for that $2,000 mortgage payment every month. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to get rid of that. We wanted to be done with that. So in our current situation, if you want to know the how, it's that we're utilizing our 2 homes in the US to pay off the Merida house. That will never have a payment on it. These two will. We're going to push like crazy, not only to pay the minimum payment, to actually go above that as we always have, and just knock down the mortgage as much as we possibly can over the next 16 years. And if we pay them off, great, that puts us in an even better position and motivates us like crazy. But even if we're not able to do that, it still means that we have reduced it so much that once we sell this place, we have no debt into amazing homes, both in the US and in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico. So, for those of you who are wondering how we're personally doing it, that's kind of the goal. But like I said, there are 1,000 ways to do it. If you only want one house, if you're somebody that's like, I don't want to take care of 2 houses, I have no goal to be back here, I want to move there full time, look at your investment strategy, look at what you have in equity in your home, and then look at what you can get in Mexico. Contact a realtor down there, figure out exactly what your situation is, and talk to a financial advisor or an accountant or an attorney that can really put together a plan for you. Now, I personally recommend CFP, Certified Financial Planners. It's what I wasn't ever one. I went to school and they had the qualifications for it. I just never did it because I was already working at the time. So I never did it, but look for a certified financial planner. They're wonderful people. They have a ton of education and background on the subject, and they can really put a plan together to show you, if you, one, if you can do it now, and two, what it would take to do it in the future. And that to me is a really good and positive piece of knowledge, because it's going to allow you to make the decisions right now that can benefit that goal of moving to Merida. And this can be applied anywhere, by the way. This can be applied if you're moving to Scotland. This can be applied if you're moving to Ireland. This can be applied if you're moving to South Africa or Thailand or Japan. Find somebody who can break down your financial life, give you a plan for the future, and they can tell you if it's possible now or if it's better to wait. And for those of you who might be, itching to get out right now, the positive about this is they can tell you the lifestyle that you might have too. If you can come to them and say, this is the type of house I want there, and it's going to cost this much money, they can say, okay, well, you're not going to be able to afford that, but here's what you can afford. Now, is it worth waiting 3 years to get out of here, to save up a bunch of money so that you can live the lifestyle that you want? Or do you want to get out of here now and live a bit of a lesser lifestyle for a bit and then move, save up down there or over there or up there, wherever you want to go, it doesn't matter. But that's the idea. Find a plan, stick to it, and if something flies in, like all of a sudden 5 years later you have 2 kids, or all of a sudden you want to buy a new car, or all of a sudden you buy a house in Merida, Mexico because it's awesome, contact them, talk to them, because that is literally what they're there for. They're there to make sure that your financial plan is in order. So that's my recommendation. And guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know it kind of gets into some weird stuff because I noticed that if you talk about what you have or what you don't have, people always put it in a comparison to themselves or to other people. I try to be honest with you all because I know that I'm passionate about the subject of finances. I'm very passionate about the subject of real estate, and I love the idea of travel. And I love the idea of moving to Merida when we can. I love the idea of being at the lake when I can. So please understand that this is just somebody that wants to share what happened to him and his experience and his family's experience and giving you that knowledge. And again, guys, I hope you enjoy it. I really hope this was a fun one for you folks, and thanks. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. That is it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell down there. It's really nice to see that, just because it lets you know anytime that a video comes out, and also helps you see any of the videos that come out immediately if you hit that notification bell. But like and subscribe, it really helps with the algorithm so that people know when they type Merida in, or real estate or marketing, advertising, whatever it might be that day, it's going to show up and the algorithm is going to push it to the top. So I really appreciate you doing that. Also, feel free to visit my website, alexanderhowell.com. I'm currently trying to update it a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer. It's been a few months since I've done that, so if it's a little glitchy, I apologize for that. But as I'm recording on October 9th of 2020, the whole world has been on fire for a while, so hopefully it won't be that big a deal. A little glitch might seem like a normal thing in a day. But also follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and the like at Alexander from KC. Hit me up on Twitch, twitch.tv/Alexander from KC as well. I'm trying to get a regular streaming schedule together, so hopefully by the time you're seeing this video, I have that, and I have other videos explaining exactly what that is. But folks, thank you so much for watching this video. Very much appreciate everybody that subscribed. This channel has grown like crazy over the last few months, and I'm really, really excited to continue to provide knowledge of anything that I possibly can, and also hopefully a little bit of fun. I'm thinking maybe start a blog or do something crazy like that, or blog's the righty thing, vlog is the video thing, that's the V. Anyway, doesn't matter. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much again. Peace.